Siobhan, thank you so much for joining us on the episode today.
I am being very much looking forward to being here, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, me too. We were talking about this like a month ago, it must have been. And
I
then,
know,
it's finally happened. This is
I know,
exciting.
I know.
And I think today's topic is so relevant. And I'm pretty excited to get into it with you because I think both of us are very opinionated on this. And it's good, we should be.
Yes,
And it's all around social media. I mean, we're going to really focus in on Instagram, though, aren't we?
yes, yeah. I think, look, any marketing person would probably be looking at what they're doing at the moment and shaking their head. And I think that's what you and I are in agreement
Yeah.
over. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like I've been thinking that for a while though, to be honest. I've been low key thinking it probably for 2 years, and I've been like, the reels thing I get, like video content is cool, but we're like the thing that I think is really fascinating is we know that the human brain is becoming less and less able to like focus on stuff, right? Due to social media. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think we've got like a 3 second attention span now.
yeah. It's even worse now, which is
So, but
sad.
why push video content?
Yeah,
Because that's not 3 seconds. 3 seconds is an image, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
But
just my two
also,
cents.
but my thing is, as anyone would know, if you are in business, you don't you try and be ahead of the curve.
Hmm.
You don't try and go and copy what, say, your main competitor is doing.
Yeah.
You bring to market something that perhaps is similar but is either better or slightly different
Yeah.
to what they're doing. And they keep repeatedly doing these things. And Facebook's renowned for it, let's face it, to just start doing what any of the competitors are doing and see if they can drown them out of the market.
Yeah.
But
Or
I
buy them
think,
out like they did with Instagram, right?
well, yeah, that's true as well. But I think exactly what with, and it's a real bugbear of mine is that what Instagram did by doing reels and pretty much copying TikTok, let's just face it, that's what it
100%.
is.
Yeah.
Um, you know, they're restricting their audience to say, well, we'll just be like them. So, and asking TikTok people to come over to Reels and to the platform is not. It's that's not. They're on TikTok for a reason.
Yeah. And also, the interesting thing is when you look at TikTok's demographic versus Instagram's, they're entirely different people.
Exactly. And this is what's getting me with a lot of the changes they keep doing. They keep making all these things. They're actually not doing the research, they're not doing the strategy down behind it. So I'd like to know who's running their marketing department, to be quite honest.
Maybe we should
Because,
pitch.
yeah, because when you look at the changes that they make, the things that they're doing, it's kind of like as if they feel like they're doing catch up.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't understand, right? Like, why would a user be on TikTok and then do the exact same thing on Instagram? Like you go to different platforms for different things, right? Like
Yeah,
anyone that has, I personally don't have TikTok. And like maybe I'll get slammed for that because they're like, as a marketer, you should have TikTok. But I also don't think that like I would love to know the demographics of people that make money off TikTok. Because I think it would mostly be like like the interesting thing about TikTok, it's not an aspirational platform.
no.
Whereas it's an educational platform, similar to YouTube, let's be honest. And Instagram, though, was always an aspirational platform. I loved when they introduced stories. I actually think stories is pretty cool. I'm behind
Yeah,
stories.
yeah, yeah. Look, that's what I'm saying. There's some elements that's fine, but what they did when it came to the reels and then prioritizing the reels when they've got the advantage at the moment where they have a multifaceted platform where it's photos, carousels, and video.
Mm,
That should have always been their strength, not saying, okay, we're going to ditch what our foundation was and go with the one thing that everyone, is on this other platform for.
yeah.
And now they're trying to reposition back to that and say, oh, yes, we did get it wrong. But I don't understand why, if they had have done the market research with who was on their platform, they should have identified that there's the creative side of it, yes, but there's creatives that do static imagery,
Yeah.
as well as the creatives that do
Photographers. Photographers were like the
photographers.
probably the biggest user of Instagram when it came out, right? And even like
Yeah,
people like myself that like to think they're a photographer.
graphic designers, like, they would put a lot of their stuff up. A lot of the graphic designers, did quite well for work-wise, and that's
Mm,
how it grew. That's how it grew into the platform that wanted to be absorbed by Facebook.
yeah.
And I just think they need to. It feels to me like they don't have a product strategy in place.
Oh, I totally agree. And the thing actually, I just thought about it, the thing that's bugged me the most in probably, I think it's the last month they launched this, maybe 6 weeks, is how every video is now a reel.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so to try and add a video for more than a minute and a half is actually a mission.
Mm.
Like they've made it hard. And then the fact that they've made all the videos on Facebook reels. And to watch, I don't know if anyone's tried to watch a video on Facebook lately. It's horrendous.
And I just don't think, like, once again, it comes down to who's running the product development strategy
Yeah.
within both organisations. And if you don't get that right, people will walk away. There are other alternatives out there now. There
Yeah.
are, like I was saying, that Vero is coming onto the market
Yeah.
where that's a platform that's pretty much like old Instagram. People will grab this and go, well, they're making the mistakes, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
And we'll introduce something that takes them back to where people, what people wanted,
Yeah.
things like that. So, I think they need to have a really good look at their product strategy and actually do some research.
Yeah.
Ask their audience, what is it that you want in our platform? You know, what is it that you use our platform for? What's the majority of, responses there? If it's for business, what is it that you want as a business? If you're a creator, what is it that you want as a creator? If you're there to just, communicate with your family and friends, what is it you want to see? Define those
Mm.
segments too.
Yeah, because I don't feel like with Facebook, I feel like for me, Facebook is a real community platform, right? Like
Yeah.
it's got its place. It is about creating community. And that's how whenever I'm trying to educate people on how to use the different socials, I always say Facebook is about community. And, I had it once said to me, and I've actually onboarded this as part of like what I say now, because I think it was a fantastic way to describe Instagram. It's the reality TV of your life. And it
Yeah.
kind of is, right? Like you can be
Yeah.
a bit of a dick on Instagram and get away
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Like I tell people often, like, and we'll use LinkedIn as an example. So I don't believe what you post on Instagram, you should be posting exactly the same on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's a different platform. I think you can be fun and frivolous and do things, but then you can be some of those posts you can do on LinkedIn, but not all of the posts, if you know what I mean. Like, so you could be like that on every post on Instagram, but if you start being like that on every post on LinkedIn, I think it starts to get a bit like you're weird.
Yeah, and people go to LinkedIn for education, right?
Yeah.
So if you're just, mucking around, they're not getting what they need from you. They like no one's going to LinkedIn to be laughing and, have a joke. Like they're going to LinkedIn to like connect with someone, see what someone's doing, or like celebrate wins, be educated. Kind of that's what I see as LinkedIn.
But also, it has to have that business foundation to
Yeah.
it. So it could be a fun like joke or something, or industry joke or things, or like a cartoon or something like that. That is fine, but it still has to have that business
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's sometimes when people are posting, they're like, oh no, I'll just post it over there. There are some people I know that do it quite well, where they do both platforms. It's the same content and it works for them. But I think you have to be a certain personality to be able to get away
Yeah.
with that.
You have to have branded yourself. Like I actually always think with my brand, I've tried to always be fun. Like
Yeah.
I actually did post around that last night on my Insta. I was like, fun is such a big value for me that I'm not afraid to bring it into my business. But having said that, I still do serious posts as well. Like,
Yeah.
I have a lot more fun on Insta than I do on LinkedIn, let's be honest.
Yeah, I do too. I'm the same. I find I get onto LinkedIn, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Like,
Down to
whereas,
business.
yeah,
Serious Beck
now
has
I've got to,
launched.
yeah, now I've actually got to behave myself. But yeah, I just think like the other thing that's turning me off Instagram, which it is, it's just becoming hard work. And I'm hearing that left, right, and centre
Yeah.
from a lot of people. They're finding Instagram hard work because and I think this was something else we've touched on, they're changing too often, too many things too often. They're introducing, so much so quickly. Oh, we're not doing this now. Oh, we're doing that now. Oh, no, we're changing it to this. They're being too quick with what they're doing.
Yeah, totally. I feel like they're in like crisis mode.
Yes, but they don't need to be.
No.
I don't understand why they're doing it because
Yeah.
it's like so reactive. They're doing reactive
Yes.
marketing, they're not doing proactive.
No, stop pissing off you. Stop pissing off everyone that's on the platform. Because, like, to be honest, now when I'm talking to business owners and stuff that I work with, I always say to them, yes, you need to be on Insta. Like, if they need to be on Instagram, I'm like, yep, you
Yeah,
need to
for
be there,
fits.
and
Yeah.
XYZ's the reason. But please, let's just note the fact that Instagram growth is not where it used to be. Like it's a really hard thing to produce the amount of content that you need to be producing. And I follow some of the like social marketing people on Insta, and one of them actually challenged my belief around that. And they said that Instagram accounts have seen the most amount of growth they've seen in the past 2 years. And I was like, that might be true if you're showing up daily with reels. And it's like no business owner, let's be honest, no business owner has got time to do that if they've got revenue coming in the door. Like,
Yeah, and I do love, like, I saw a Reels coach the other day saying, oh, one of their things was, oh, you don't have time to make Reels. Well, you have to make time to make Reels. I'm like, no, you have to have time to make money.
yeah,
And
yes,
like, you've got to run your business.
yeah,
And you can't be spending a day, half a day making Reels. That's a fair chunk out of someone's time on a business,
yeah. And then
you know.
even to cost to pay someone. I know a lot of people now that are paying to have reels done made for them. And it's incredibly expensive. And I would argue that the return on investment is not there.
No.
And we might be very hated for saying that, but I think that like at the end of the day, and we were talking about it, Instagram's flip-flopped anyway. They've gone back to saying reels are not the only thing that's going to do well on our platform
Yeah.
now, which hurrah, I'm so grateful for that as a marketer, because I want to see the other content. I do want to see the photos that my friends post of their baby's first birthday as a consumer of Instagram. So yeah, I think that this reels trend, it was probably always going to come to an end, and maybe we're starting to see that.
Well, it'll be interesting moving forward because I mean, and this was one of the things I was looking at when I see so many reels. Everyone's a reels coach or reels person now. My one kind of fear factor for them was, well, what happens if we are in the situation we are now, where that's coming to an end? Yes, there will be some space for those people, but if they've put all their eggs into one basket as such and just focusing on reels, moving forward, that'll be interesting what those people do with their businesses.
Yeah.
Because I think diversity in business, it's always something I teach people, is you've got to have multiple revenue streams. You can't be just thinking one revenue stream or one kind of product focus. You do need to have a few different levels and price points and all that sort of thing. And the other thing is, like, I'm fearing for those sort of people is that Instagram goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your business?
Yeah. This is why I often have been quoted to say social media will not save your business,
No.
because if that's the only, like, honestly, I'm remember when remember when Instagram went down last year?
Oh yeah, that was
And
fun.
people were like freaking out. I was like jumping on that bandwagon. I'm like, guys, this is exactly why we
Yes.
need to diversify into
Yes.
other things other than Instagram. And I think, I think it's awesome the people that have been able to jump on this and
Yeah.
ride. They've probably made plenty of cash out of it, and
Good
good
on
on them,
them.
because I
Good
didn't
on
want to
them.
do it.
No.
Someone had to. It wasn't going to ever be me. But I mean, I'm from same as you. Like we were cut from traditional marketing methods, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we've
Yeah.
seen that, like that other side of marketing. It's like, nah, like this is down and dirty, and there is the stuff that you need to do before we're doing the other stuff. But yeah, I think what would you take away from this podcast for people?
Yeah.
What would be your number one piece of advice for someone right now regarding social media as a whole? and what they should be considering for 2023. Because let's be honest, like people are probably planning that out now. So, or
Oh
they should
yeah,
be.
well they should be. That's the number
It
one
should
tip,
be
isn't it?
planned.
You should be planned. I think moving forward, we're look, we are looking into some pretty hard times moving forward. I would definitely be looking at diversification in all of your marketing, not just the social media. Looking at each of the platforms and seeing what it is that you're achieving on those platforms from the past year and what's worked and what hasn't for you. And I would even be looking at not just what content has worked and what hasn't, but how you made that content. Did that work for you within your business? Did batching out reels work for you, or did it mean that you had to pull back on another area of your business?
Mm.
So for me, I would be actually sort of almost putting what I say, the cards on the table at the end, well, now, because we're in November, putting the cards on the table, having a look at specifically your social media and going, what worked and what didn't work for me this year as far as the content goes, but as far as how that content was able to fit into my working week.
Yeah.
And if some of those elements, such as maybe reels, doing now that it's not going to have the reach it did once have, maybe it's down to 2 reels a week for
Yeah.
you, that sort of thing. But I'm also very big on making sure that you're on the right platforms for your business as well, like
Yeah.
where you're going to make money.
Yeah. Hugely agree with that. And I just want to say, well, it's in my brain and you've just said it. Put a dollar value next to your time, for the love of God.
Yes.
Because I think as business owners, and I remember someone Janine, which is how we met, Janine Garner once said to me, would you be earning more working at Macca's? Like realistically, put the dollar value next to your time, because if you don't do that and you're not charging out your time to create your marketing, you don't even know the return on investment. You
Yeah.
actually don't.
Yeah. You're not getting a true value.
No.
So what you need to do is prioritize what's giving you value. So that's why I think you're the same. I don't believe you should need to be everywhere or
No.
doing it all. You just need to do what works, and that's my big thing. Don't try and do it all. Just do what works for your business.
And often I find what works is what you kind of enjoy doing too. A little
Yeah,
secret there.
yeah. I just think like if you look at it, some of the other marketing gurus out there, it's like, no, you just churn out all the content and you get on TikTok and you do this and you do that and you do. That's because their business is being a creator.
Mm. Yeah.
If your business is as a coach, or if you're in the service industry, or if you're selling product, you've got all of that to do as well as create content. And, I speak to a lot of business owners who, especially, product and that sort of thing, they're busy making the stuff, they're shipping the orders, they're doing all of those things, creating content and that sort of thing. It's hard work. So, at the end of the day, look at what's going to give you the return on investment, and that way it's not going to be hard work.
Yeah, totally agree. And like where you can obviously repurpose, and then
Yeah.
also, yeah, like 2 posts a week, 2 quality posts a week that really reach your audience and really get them and heavily, for them, is better than 5 posts that are like, eh.
Yeah, exactly. Where you've just gone click, 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 couple of hashtags, off we go.
Yeah, like don't be thoughtful. Like, yesterday I actually spent naughty. It was a Sunday, so I'm going to charge out my time there. But, I spent yesterday considerably looking at my content strategy, and obviously I'm in a bit of a launch at the moment, so there's more content than needed. And I'm testing at the moment, so I know there's a test value next to that. So it's like, all right, cool. But I will guarantee you in December I'll be looking at everything I've done in November and seeing what works, because also when we test for our clients too. Like we test to see what's working for everyone, not just our own outcome. But I think that's great advice, Siobhan. I'm so grateful that you've joined us today, and we've had this little chat, because I think we'll tag Insta.
Yeah.
Be like, guys, we can come help you, but it'll cost you a lot.
Yeah. Yep, sounds good.
Well,
Thank
you so much. I'm sure I'll get you back for another episode soon.
Yes.
And if anyone wants to find you, I'll have all your details in the show notes.
Yes, excellent. See you.